machine. And
Does that look like I'm dancing?
This is on a Paddy's Day special. Right, in the Shaneanigans bar, we have a superstar, my good friend, Mr. Duffy in the building!
Thank you! Just so you all know, I wrote that introduction myself.
And for those of you who don't know who Boyzone are, and you've never seen us in action as such, but this is Keith in action over the last, I don't know how many years, but let's call it 20 years. Probably a little bit short, Rick, but we'll let you away with that one. Yeah. Duster, how are you, me old fella?
How are you, brother?
It's great to see you. I haven't seen you for nearly a year, I think.
That's probably longer than a year.
We came to, me, Benny, Abs, came to the Boyzlife, one of your tours.
Where?
Close? No, we were down in...
Tunbridge Wells.
Benny, Tunbridge Wells, thank you. Tunbridge Wells, the last one I
You said you weren't coming in. You can't help yourself, can you? No, simply laugh. It's okay, do you want a hug?
Yeah, please.
Social distance and keep your space.
It's literally the last time I've seen you, man, so it's good to see you, me old flower.
You too, man. I only got into the country last night because we've been in full lockdown since Christmas, since before Christmas in Ireland. You see, you guys legged it out of Europe, so you don't have to share your vaccinations. We have to share with Europe, so we don't have any. I think we've vaccinated like 1% of the country so far. But anyway, I got over yesterday, had some business to do here, and I had a nightmare. I got the boat over, and they closed the motorway. You know, you pick a night ferry so that you can drive at night time, and no cars on the road, get to your destination, no problem. And then you arrive in the UK, and for some reason they always close the motorways at night time. So I had to go through the valleys and all of Wales to get to Manchester. It was a nightmare.
And do you know what? I say to my wife all the time, anytime I'm driving from like London to up north and south, I say, if I'm not gone by 5 o'clock, and any of you drivers out there on the road, you know what that's like. As soon as it hits kind of 10 to 10, you start seeing...
Cowboy time.
Cowboy time. You start seeing them signs, man, and the motorway coming down to 1 lane, 2 lane, and it's like, oh, loud, and that's it. You're shut down.
But you see that, but you never see anybody doing any work. You know what I mean? You might see 5 guys wearing high vis just having a chat with a coffee.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's no work being done.
I've been trying to get a job doing that for ages. It's great.
6:30 in the morning, you see them packing up their gear and moving on. Yeah. What did you do? Nothing. But I'm on double time.
Rick Live, motorway driving. What do we got for motorway driving?
That's it, throw Rick on.
Come on. A bit of Leo saying.
Hold on, ready?
Wait, you caught me off.
It's okay, this is our show and we can go on as long as we want. We will wait.
There'll be no tea tonight for anybody.
Motorway driving, Rick Live. Oh! Motor Pippi, what a hip!
I don't know the exact same clip as Nathan driving.
Probably not quite. Not that PC really. That wasn't really PC, but we'll let you out with it anyway. Dale, so you've got a Gala bingo. Can I mention Gala bingo tomorrow? What are you doing tomorrow night?
Gala bingo just have us over kind of doing the St. Patrick's Day party with your sisters actually.
Oh, very good, very good.
I think your sisters are doing it with us. So we're just playing kind of Irish paddy games, which is the same games that anybody plays, but we just don't get the answers right. So we're going to do that and have a bit of fun tomorrow night on Gala bingo. And that's why I came over, myself and Brian McFadden. Obviously, Brian and I have been doing Boyzlife now for about 4 years. And we
as long as 4 years.
Yeah.
Well, we got your dates up on here. Can we just throw up those dates if we can find them?
This is the 4th time to announce them now since the lockdown.
I mean, you're talking. So you're looking. When's the first one? September, is it?
Yeah, but man, look at the dates because of lockdown. Obviously, everybody in the music business's gigs got cancelled or postponed. So when we were trying to find out when is a safe time to put the gigs back on, the venues, you pretty much had to take whatever venues were available on the days that they were available.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like back in the old days when we were in Boyzone in '94, and Louis Walsh used to put like a map of Ireland on the wall and throw a dart, and it would land up in Donegal and the Glenties, and then he'd throw another dart, and it'd be down in Cork. So we do a gig on Friday night in the Glenties, then we'll drive for 2 days down to Cork. But if you know Ireland, you know that's impossible, unless you have a really bad car, obviously. But yeah, so it's pretty much like that. We've got like a gig in Oxford, then a gig in Birmingham, then a gig in Edinburgh, then we've like 5 days off, then we've a gig in Peterborough, then we've 2 days off. So it's a nightmare tour, but you know what, because the music business and the entertainment business has been so affected by COVID, I think everybody is just really eager to get back to work. So we just took whatever we were offered. We just wanted to get back on the road, we wanted to get back on stage, we wanted to get back doing what we do and try and keep ourselves sane in these crazy times.
I hope it comes off, man. It's not that far. What are we? Still got 6 months to go.
Yeah, I mean the UK are looking really, really good. They're getting. I mean, I think they're already up to over 50% of vaccinations done.
Right.
So I mean, the UK are looking really, really solid from a very rusty start with Boris Johnson back. It was actually the 16th of March. This day last year was a Monday, and I was in the Mere Country Club and we had a day off, and we were playing Huddersfield on Paddy's Day, and it was the first time Boris Johnson addressed the nation at 5 o'clock that day, because people were ringing me from Ireland, which was in complete lockdown at the time, and saying, you have to stop posting your shows on social media because all the artists in Ireland are in lockdown and you're just kind of flying in the face of God type of thing. And I'm going, well, in the UK, nothing's going on. I mean, everything's still open. And it really did. It was like weeks later in the UK to kick in. But now, obviously, you're completely caught up, especially when you have your own vaccination coming out of Oxford. You know, you're not relying on Pfizer or whatever. So, you know, the UK is looking pretty good for the music business and for the entertainment business to get back to work soon. So it's looking like festivals are going to be back on by July, maybe some in June. And the tour starts in September. So
amazing.
Fingers crossed we get back working.
Rick Live, fingers crossed, Rick Live. Fingers crossed, Rick Live. What have we got? Nothing to
Come into the parlour now and make yourself at home.
That's better. That's what we miss, isn't it? We miss the crack.
Yeah,
the crack.
Absolutely.
Where's all the drink? Where's the drink? I'm behind the bar. There's no drink.
I drank it.
I want to take it a little bit car related, if I may.
Sure.
Keith, what was your first car that you had?
A GT Turbo?
No, an RS2000.
RS2000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that your first car?
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you a secret that I've never told anybody in my life before, right? Because I was only 19 or something, I couldn't afford to get insured in an RS2000, so I bought the shell and I put a 1.3 litre into it.
No. Hey! So you can rely on me to get the scoop.
But I put a jam speed exhaust on it, so nobody knew the difference. It was grand.
That's the story of my life. Didn't you guys... was it your first car that both of you had a big smash at
We had a bit of a roll when we were 17, yeah.
We had a bit of a roll. I had a Mark 1 GTI Golf, and that was my first car, technically my car. I had a truck before that, whatever. But yeah, and we had a Boyzone meeting in town.
It was a really exciting meeting, actually, because Boyzone hadn't really got any traction at the time. We had no real success. Louis Walsh was a genius at getting you all over the front of the newspapers and making it look, making the perception of the success much bigger than it actually was. But this particular day, myself and Shane and the boys, we all got kitted out by some designer label clothing to have a meeting in the Westbury Hotel in Dublin.
It might have even been Levi's.
Well, no, it was the other one, that the black leather stuff they used to wear to the clubs at the time.
Oh,
Richmond.
Machino?
Richmond.
It's okay. Oh,
no, Richmond. It was.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
It was something Richmond.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were meeting Tom Watkins, and basically the idea of the meeting was Tom Watkins obviously managed Bros and he managed Pet Shop Boys and so forth. And Tom Watkins had flown to Ireland to meet us because they were talking about making a new Monkeys TV show. So do you remember the Monkeys TV show?
Yeah.
They were talking about making a new Monkeys TV show and making Boyzone the kind of the new Monkeys, if you like. So it was a really big meeting that went really, really well. But on the way home, none of us had a car. Shane was the only one with a car. And we were lucky because we were driving home from the city centre, and myself and Shane grew up beside each other. And we dropped off Stephen, we dropped off Roe and Mikey.
I don't know if Mikey had his own car, I think.
Myself and Shane were coming across the back roads on the way home after having this really exciting meeting, and we'd been stopped by the Gardaí, the police, on the way. Any time you see young guys in a car in Dublin, you get pulled over. So we got pulled over.
All black, everything GTI go, of course.
So you've been like that since you were top then, haven't you?
John Richmond clothes it was, all black leather stuff. Anyway, they made us put our seatbelts on. It wasn't as strict back then. I mean, I know we look really young, but this was a long time ago. It was the black and white days, you know what I mean? So we had our seatbelts on, luckily enough. And, basically we went over this kind of humpback bridge. We got a bit of airtime. It was a front wheel drive car, so I don't know whether he came off the gas a little bit in the corner or whatever, but the arse came around to me, just clipped the curb and we went rolling. And thankfully, it wasn't a scratch on us. Now, I went into complete shock because if you saw the car, the roof was completely crumbled in it. We were left hanging in our seatbelts, and like the worst injury is when we pressed the seatbelt and we hit the roof.
Is it true that Louis banned you guys from being in cars or banned you from being together in cars or something? That's what I read somewhere.
No, Louis couldn't ban us from doing that like that. He tried to ban us from having girlfriends, but that was for a different reason.
How'd that work out?
But I remember anyway, I was a nervous wreck afterwards, and I kind of started going into shock and stuff, and people that heard the crash that lived on the road were putting jackets around me to keep me warm while we waited on the fire brigade and the police to come, and nobody could find Shane. And Shane had a baseball bat in the boot of the car, which had rolled out because the car was all bashed up and it was rolling down the road. Shane picked up the baseball bat, waiting on the ambulance, like just in case there was oncoming traffic, just kind of slowing them down. It was a backcountry road, so there wasn't much traffic. But he was hitting up pedals and hitting it with the baseball bat, as cool as you like, not a bother. You all right, Sean? Yeah, I'm grand, you? I'm fine, yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong with you? We were just in a crash.
I think, back in the day, I'm a car head, everyone knows I'm a car head, that's why I'm doing this show. But this is not the first time, or that's probably the first time I had a big crash, but it's not the last. I'm going to show you a clip now from pretty much one of the most expensive GT crashes, certainly in this country, went into the millions. This is at Alton Park in about 03 or 04. Check this out.
And look at these conditions on the commentary box here. It's absolutely pelting it down. And there's no question about it right now that this track is almost undrivable. Wet or dries, the 52 Lotus goes up there. Robert Ross just managed. Now this is down at Knickerbrook. That's the number 8 Celine, and the 9 is coming down in towards it. Oh my God, that is a massive shot between the number 9 and the number 8 Celine. Two cars, teammate cars. Cars in the same stable, and they have made a serious contact. That is the Viper, I think, just up there. Stephen Watson, number 38. The Marshal needs to be getting out of the way. And oh my God. Wow, we just hope that he's managed to be okay. And we see the Ferrari spinning off there, and he has gotten up. The Lister just getting through on its wet tires. We see Mike Newton there, I think it was just running off from the number 9 car. The 55 TBR hits the Ferrari and the Celine and the Viper. Simon pulling in that car. Well, and this is Shane Lynch. Now he's going up just before the previous chicane, before we get to Hilltop, coming out of Fulston. Now we're back down here at Knickerbrook. And
And that is probably, as deemed to be said, one of the most expensive crashes in GT.
Every single car got minced.
Plain and simply, the rain came down way too quick. We're all on slicks. It wasn't a wet race, it was a dry race. And yeah, it ended up in absolute carnage. But thankfully, nobody got hurt. Thankfully.
Really?
Yeah.
Say that to the guy that was standing at the fence.
Yeah.
No, he did that right.
He didn't get hurt, thank God. He just lost his legs.
Bit of thing.
He's grand now. He's arsing around the place. He's great.
So Keith, I'm gonna go a bit past. I've got a right. Oh, this is gonna be bad for me. I'm gonna go a little bit car. I'm gonna go a little bit music. So Boyzlife, tell us how did that come about, you and Brian?
Okay, well, I had just done 6 months in the West End doing a drama show called A Handful of Stars, which you come to see.
I did, amazing.
And I was playing this character called Stapler, and it was a supporting lead role in the Trafalgar Studios in the West End, but I had about a 10 or 15 page monologue to do as this character, and in those places, I mean, obviously we've played up to 200,000 people. But when you go back and you play venues and there's only like 100 people or 110 people, all you can see is the whites of eyes on you. And when you're in the band, it's cool because you can kind of rock it out and do your thing. But as an actor, you've got to convince everybody else you're somebody else. You've got to remember your lines and deliver them and stay within that role and that person. And it's scary. And it's probably the scariest thing I've ever done in the entertainment business. But for some reason, I love that fear. I love that when I get that kind of psyched out, scared, it really kind of I buzz on it. So I'd kind of done that then when that was over, and I decided that I'd like to do a one-man show. It's the only thing I hadn't done.
Oh, yeah, I remember
And I started kind of figuring out how could I write a one-man show. And I was looking at different people. I mean, stand-up comedians are kind of always do a one-man show, but I wanted to do it more dramatically rather than just telling stories. Anyway, I'm not a playwright, and you have to start somewhere. And I actually got talking to an American-Irish DJ called Des Bishop, and I explained to him what I wanted to try and do. And he said, look, the best way to start, he said, like, what have you got, over 20 years in the music business? I said, pretty much. And he said, you must have performed with some amazing people over those years. He said, who have you performed with? And it was only when he asked me that question I started thinking. I said, well, we performed with Pavarotti, which was surreal. You know, we performed with the Bee Gees and U2, and God, and then there was Joe Cocker and Mariah Carey on that gig. And then we all sang We Are the World at the end with Lionel Richie and Ricky Martin and all these things that went on backstage, like the fun that we used to have, because everybody has this idea that rock bands are, you know, sex, drugs and rock and roll. I mean, we were the most rock and roll boy band I think there ever was. Anywhere we went, we drank the place out of the bar, you know. We really enjoyed ourselves, you know, there's no argument there. But, you know, he said, well, put those stories together and kind of tell the fans from your perspective how it was to be in a boy band all those years and the different experiences you had, and possibly then maybe sing a song that relates well to that story. So I went away and I started putting this together, and kind of it got a bit of traction, and I was basically looking at putting the tickets on sale. We'd secured the Hilton Hotel Group globally had come on board and basically wanted me to bring the show there, which I thought was a great idea at the time, because you know they've got the function rooms, they've got the hotel rooms to do a package for the audience. But what I didn't realise, I think at the time, you forget these venues, like hotel venues, they don't have a stage, they don't have the lights, you have to bring all that stuff in. Anyway, I was trying to kind of figure it out, and I've been playing golf with Brian McFadden for years, and obviously he was in Westlife for years. I'm coming close to it because Shane and I never really got an opportunity in the 90s in boy bands, or in Boyzone, to sing the lead vocals. Stephen and Ronan predominantly sang most of the lead vocals, and Louis Walsh's attitude was, it's not broken, let's not fix it. So we never really got our chance, and as a result of that, you don't have the confidence that you should have after being in the business that amount of time. So I was starting to get a little bit self-conscious about the actual songs and singing the songs and stuff. So I started thinking to myself, maybe it'd be an idea to get an MC to come on the road with me, someone that kind of sings with me and then kind of asks me questions and kind of breaks it up a little bit. And I had an idea of a couple of presenters in my mind, and then I played golf with Brian, like I said, and he was playing a solo gig in a place called Whelan's in Dublin, which only holds probably about 300 or 400 people, but it's a real credible music joint for someone coming out of a boy band to go in there with a live band and play. So I went in with my son and a few buddies to see Brian, and I didn't realise how many songs he had written, really, really good songs, and I was really blown away by his performance. After the show, we were having a couple of pints of Guinness, as you do, and he said to me, what are you doing at the moment? I said, well, I'm writing this show, I'm trying to get this show off the ground. And he goes, oh, that sounds amazing, I'd love to do that. And I was thinking, hang on, you know, well, I'll write you in. I mean, then we've the whole back catalogue of Boyzone's hits, with Westlife's hits, and you know,
that's the stars aligning right now.
That's it, yeah. So it just became clear, and you know, and he says, well, what we call ourselves? And I said, well, we call ourselves West Zone. And he says, no, we can't. I said, why? He says, because that's a car park at Dublin Airport. I said, Boyzlife, yes, that sounds good. So we went on the road, and we just literally, once we start touring, we went really, really far, really quickly. And then we changed the venues, and we changed the idea of the show, because the show was called Stories, Laughter and Music. So we'd go out in the show in three-piece suits, we'd sit down and we'd talk about our experiences in the music business from kids growing up and so forth, and we'd sing a few songs. But then ultimately the fans through social media, whatever, were saying is, could you not do more songs? I mean, between the two bands, there's over 21 number one songs. So our set list could be huge, you know? So we decided to move more towards the music side and leave the stories out. Well, that was the idea, but when you get me and him on a mic, it's hard to shut us up, would you believe? But
no, come on.
You can sure tell a story.
We went to these venues then, the Academy venues, like the O2 Academy venues, which are kind of real rock and roll kind of stages with all standing and like a mosh pit, really, without the stadium. That's pretty much what they are. And it didn't sell very well. And then this guy approached us and asked us, you know, could he do a tour with us? And he was putting us into city halls and theatres. And we're going like, you know, we're going from 500-600 people a night to 3,000, 4,000 a night. We're going, these ones aren't really even selling that well. But all of a sudden, bang, the whole tour sold out. And he's going, you were selling the wrong venues. Your fans want to come in and sit down and be comfortable and actually watch the show. You were doing the wrong venues. So once we changed to the bigger venues, it just went bang again. And that's what I'm saying. This time last year, we were 24 shows into a 170 show tour, right across from Asia, Sri Lanka, India, Australia, New Zealand. And it all just got pulled from under us. So here's hoping we get back at the end of this year.
100%. And do you know, you mentioned your son in there as well. He came to. How's Jay? Is he well?
Yeah, Jay's good. I think like everybody, everybody's getting a bit fed up of being stuck at home and not working, especially the younger generation that's in the entertainment business. Like Jay's an actor, so it's very difficult when you're trying to get traction at his age. He's 24, he's 25 next month, and you know he was getting good traction. He was starting to kind of do very, very well. And he was happy, and then he just again the carpet gets pulled from under him. And I think a lot of the people in the entertainment business out there, especially that age, you know, from 18 up to 30, that they're kind of just getting their careers off the ground. It's been very, very difficult for them. It's been very difficult financially for them as well. I mean, there's only the top 3 to 5% of people in the entertainment business that make enough money to actually pay for their lifestyle or their life. They need other jobs to keep them going. So when all this gets pulled away and even your jobs to keep you going gets pulled away, it's been, I mean, I'd worry that down the road now we're going to start dealing with mental health issues with the young people because of what this coronavirus has done to the world, you know. And it's up to us wiser and older people to make sure we help them.
I don't know about the wiser part.
I was talking about me when I said that.
and in that, did I see on socials that your beautiful daughter Mia's 21?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Where's that gone?
Mia's 20. She was 21 on the 11th of March. It's amazing, but again, it's so sad to see a young lady that's 21. She hasn't been outside the door in over a year. She can't socialise with her friends. Her 21st birthday party was just at home with her brother and her mum and dad. And me. I know that's me. No, but I mean, I know there's people a lot more worse off than we are, you know, and I understand that. But, you know, it's relative to everybody, you know, and kids and young adults are stuck at home not being able to socialise. And, you know, she'd like to have a boyfriend, but it's impossible to meet a boyfriend when you're not outside the door, you know. So hopefully, like I say, this all gets back to normal and all the people out there can go back to their lives.
And it just so happens that there'll be some good concerts to go to once this
Yes, there will.
as well, isn't there? Right?
I think without a doubt, you know, it's important that our kids growing up in our lives and that the youth are very, very important. So we've got a little clip of some younger kids kind of getting stuck into, you know, becoming amazing in their creation. So let's call it Salute the Youth.
Dressing up as girls, imagine.
One thing, as you see, if you see on any of the Dream Machines, my Dream Machine stuff is every now and then I do a little cheeky behind over the shoulder and do a little piece of camera. That little last shot was my own door in here in the.
Was
Dream
it?
Machine. Yeah, that was Billy Ray Lynch.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Billy Ray Lynch and that their beat ball challenge, which
Well,
you're going to be
Billy
doing
Ray.
later on, the beat ball challenge. And in fact, what are we doing?
We are going to do. I've got another question, car-related question, if you don't mind. So I was known the guys for a long time, and there was a very funny story that I'd like you to tell the viewers about with the Formula One, when I think You got invited to go Red Bull, was it?
Milan.
Oh, this is
Okay, I'll give you the short
Monaco.
version. And it was Monaco. No, it was Milan. It was
Right.
Milan. Yeah. So I shot this 5-part drama series called Five-A-Side, which was 5 guys playing football. But it wasn't about football, it was about their local pub and just their comings and goings and all different people, like a lawyer, solicitor and his son, and then the bar guy, and I was best mates with the guy behind the bar. But a guy called Paul Sculfer, who you might know. He was, I think, one of the first male supermodels, and he looks a bit like Brad Pitt. I think he went out with all
look
the
to me
same
then,
girls.
also, because he looks a bit like
looks
you.
a bit like you. Anyway, the girl from the PR company that was doing the PR to get the 5-part series out there, she was also the PR girl for Infinity Red Bull when they were collaborating together. And Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber were their drivers at the time. So she rings me up after I finished working with her, and she said, I remember listening to you at lunchtime one day, and you were talking about cars and you were talking about this, that and the other. And she said, I've got an invitation for you to go to the Milan Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel would like to invite you. I said, wow, holy God, that's amazing. Yeah, she goes, and you know, you can bring a +1. So one of my mates in Dublin's a big F1 fan. I said, do you want to go to the Milan Grand Prix? He goes, yeah. I said, all expenses paid. We're being invited over. It's crazy. It's great. He goes, oh, brilliant. So we go to Dublin. Our flight's all paid for. We go to Dublin Airport. When we land in Milan, this guy comes up and goes, hello, Mr. Duffy, I'm your chauffeur, right? So we go out, Infinity had like the equivalent to an S-Class Mercedes, big long wheelbase kind of Infinity car. We get in there, they've all our laminate passes for the whole weekend. We arrive in on the Thursday night. We're checking into a hotel in Milan, and most of the big hotels in major cities, the rooms are tiny, and I thought we'd be probably sharing, you know, and we'd probably end up kind of, you know, squashing this little room. But we had a room each when we arrived at the hotel, and I went, and there were these massive big suites with these gold columns, and my whole bed, a big super king size bed, was laid out with all the Red Bull Infinity, the trousers, the shirts, the caps. I mean, all the stuff, all the swag they sell at the track. I had one of everything on my bed, you know, and my buddy had the same thing in his room, and I'm going crazy. And then they said to me, and the guy gave me his card, the driver. He says, I'm your chauffeur for the whole weekend. When you're going to and from the track, if you're going to the nightclub, wherever you're going, I'm your driver. I thought, wow, this is brilliant, like too good to be true. So then they said, you have to go to the Versace Hotel tomorrow night to have dinner with Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, but you have to wear a suit. I said, we didn't have suits with us. They said, oh, that's okay, you can go down to the Tommy Hilfiger shop and they're going to tailor make suits for the two of you, right? So we go down to Tommy Hilfiger and they kit us out with shoes, suits, the whole lot, like, you know, to go to the Versace Hotel for dinner. We arrive over there and we're scooped off by security into this room, and you've just got all the top supermodels from the world in there, all dressed up, and all a few of the racing car drivers, and there's Sebastian and Mark, and I'm going, holy, it was just surreal. And then I had to do a photo shoot with the drivers shaking their hand and smiling and stuff, and my mate saying to me, why have they invited you here? Like, what are you doing here, you know? And I said, I don't know, I'm just going along with it, you know? So the other invited guest by Infinity Red Bull was David Hasselhoff, the Hoff. And his girlfriend, the girl he was going out with from Wales, I'm not sure if he's still with her. So those two and me and my buddy were kind of chaperoned all weekend. But we go for dinner that night anyway, on the Friday night. And Mark Webber says to me, so what chassis are you driving on, right? And I go, what? I think he said, are you still on the Skyline or something, he said to me, you know? And then the penny starts to drop. I'm starting to realise they think I'm fucking Shane. I love this. I gotta play this one out. Yeah, the Skyline. I'm going with a new Jap engine for the new season. But, you know, I'm trying my best to kind of keep it going, you know? So I couldn't believe it. My mate's looking over going, I knew there was something going on. So the PR girl came in, and basically they were having a group meeting about their invited guests. And the boys were saying, who's the chap from Boyzone that does the drift car racing or whatever? And the girl doing the PR doesn't know much about cars, but because she heard me talking cars with Paul Sculfer, she just assumed it was me. I said, oh, I've just worked with him. I've got his phone number. So that's how it all came about, you know. So on the Saturday, my mate says, you'll have to ring Shane and tell him. I said, oh, I couldn't. He'll kill me, you know.
I love that you played it out. You went with it. It's my
I had the best weekend of my life.
I tell you what sucks is, though, if you would have gone to that, I could have been your +1, so I missed out as well.
Listen, we got the grid access on the final day. We were brought up to the cars on the grid. It was just, the amount of access we got was phenomenal, you know. But I rang Shane. My mate says, you have to tell Shane. So I rang Shane and I said, Shano, listen, don't kill me, but I'm in Milan with David Hasselhoff on the grid for the start of the race, but they think I'm you. All expenses paid. And he said, you fucking bastard. I'm in the Pistons of Rain and Mondello.
Mondello's basically another racetrack in Ireland. I was over there drifting, and probably for Jap Speed, of course. And so I usually living the life, and I was getting soaked to the bone. That was nice.
Boys, I've got one final, that is my favourite story. I've got one final question that I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask.
Go on.
Been thinking about getting the band back together. What do you say?
You mean our band?
Yeah, can I be in it this time?
No, you're not in. You're not in.
I think there's a 30th anniversary coming up somewhere, you know?
I think there should be. It's been coming up in the comments.
The only thing we can do as Boyzone ever again, I think, is 33 and a third anniversary.
No,
That's
33 and a tour.
And a tour. 33 and a tour. All right, let's take the people shot then.
Keith, would you sign the tub for us first of all, if you wouldn't mind? There's a pen up there. I'll put this out and then we will take the shot. So, Liz Llewellyn is going to be first up. We'll put that about there. Liz, you're playing for £100 of site credit. Where am I going to? Which one? That one? That one. £100 of site credit is what we're playing for now. So, Keith, get the ball. If he gets there, it's £100 of site credit for you tonight.
Put the 7 in.
Liz Llewellyn.
Paddy's Day special. So, let's get some atmosphere going on right live. All right. This is you. Where's the ball? Where's the ball? The ball down there?
Just behind
The ball down there. Sorry, good ball. So, who are we playing for next? Liz.
Liz Llewellyn.
Liz, for you.
£100 for Liz Llewellyn. If Keith gets
It's a little bit far away, Nate.
Is that a bit too far away?
A little bit far away.
Get a bit further forward if you like.
That's it. Liz. All right, Liz.
All right, we're going for Liz Llewellyn. £100 site credit if this goes in. Liz Llewellyn, you just won £100 of site credit thanks to Mr. Keith Duffy.
Oh my God.
You've done that before, me, Bellflower.
Keith, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. And we've got to go and give some cars away and some money and all bits and bobs.
Big
right?
live. Keith Duffy and the Shaneanigans. Bye.